now. It's all because of social media, Angel. It really is. It is just a downfall. It is the ruin of society. It just really is, man. Everyone wants to be impressive. Everyone wants to crop the photo. They want to edit it. They want people to think they're here, they're there, they're everywhere. They're constantly on their phone, constantly chewing up the screen time. Nobody friggin' reads a book. Nobody picks up the phone and talks to anyone. Nobody writes letters and send them to a friggin' pigeon as a carrier. No one does anything like that anymore. So to answer your question, yeah, man, like I said, a late bloomer for me. So, I had my own issues.
By the way, Joey B says the day Quinones traded in the IROC and the Miami Vice leisure suit, dating was over.
Listen, two things. First of all, not accurate. Number one is my first car was an Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. And I will say,
oh my God.
Oh, it was, yeah. It was a boat. I will say, did I rock the jacket or the two-tone pants back in the day? I might have pulled it out. Was Don Johnson my guy? Philip Michael Thomas my guy? Sure. Absolutely. Where did it get me? Where did it get me, Joey B? I rock my ass. Get the hell out of here.
By the way, he follows up with the dating aspect of the world. LOL. All social media driven today. Scary. My daughter in college now. Just weird the way the kids connect, which is true. And it's absolute truth. Although I know Nick is waiting in a green room, but I'm wondering what Nick, if you can hear us there, I'm pretty sure we should be able to hear you. What was your first car that either A was awarded to you and or that you bought yourself?
Hold on, is that Costco? Costco's in the green room already?
Yeah. Hold on. Wait. I'll do this. Listen, we're just gonna do the automatic crossover to your show. Give me a second, Nick. I'm gonna bring you up. We're gonna do this nonchalantly, but we're gonna do it one way or the other.
He's ambitious.
Listen, it's all funny. I told you it's Friday. It's the network. We can do whatever we want to here, which is the best part about it. So let me resize a couple things. We'll add Nick to the fun here in a second. That way we can find out exactly what he ended up rocking back in the day. It's complete. I feel like an old man when I talk about this, but Nick may not understand because of.
He's a young. Let me. Costco is a young kid. He's a young guy. He's still a little green, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
So, Nick, what was it that boy? Now he's flashing the guns here. What was your first car of choice there?
I really didn't have a car of choice. It was more of a hand-me-down, but worth it. 98 4Runner. So and then I love that vehicle. So that was the first car. And once I run my current one in the ground, I'll get the new one in about 10 years.
Nice. So I'm assuming, Armando, you can see him, hear him. Yes, no.
Negative. Let me guess. Do I have to refresh again?
Yeah, go ahead and refresh your screen.
Oh my goodness! Who the hell is running the show over there? I'm losing freaking.
Listen, you'll hear him rant and rave all the time. We go back and forth all the time. That's what happens. I told him he's got to get out of the Atari version and get into the digital world, Nick, for him to understand how this works around here. But we'll wait for him to pop back in.
There's my guy.
That's just how he is, I would say.
Wait, hold on. What? Go ahead.
He's not quite technologically advanced.
Hold on a second. I don't have any freaking control over this. What are you talking about? And what were you doing? Double buys? Were you flashing the guns?
You missed it. He's not going to do it again. You missed it. See, it was a first time run. See, you missed the conversation about the car. You missed everything.
Yeah, see, now look.
Of course I did. Hey, he didn't get back to me fast enough with his phone. I didn't know he was actually on the air yet.
Well, no. Normally we cross over. He's on at 12 o'clock, but because here we normally, him and I, we do a crossover at the end of my show leading into his show. And that's probably why he couldn't see you, because I usually switch studios in between. But now I'll keep it here so he knows he doesn't have to switch into anything and just kind of keep it going from that point on. But no, it's okay. But you are right, though. He is a little tech savvy. We won't say much to him.
I love how
Poor
Nick
guy still has the screen blacked out. He'll be all right.
Now, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Nick, can you hear me? See, I don't think
Nick probably can't hear you, but that's okay. I'm going to end up refreshing everything, and then we'll all be on the same sheet of music. But yeah, that's what. Listen, well, one thing is because Nick can hear me. See, if you actually would have gotten back to me last evening with something that I asked, guess what? All of us.
By the way, FYI, because I'm about to friggin' call you out. That screenshot was a friggin' email I sent you. That's number one. And Costco could attest to this if he can hear me or not. I don't mess around when it comes to that shit. Yeah,
right.
See? Now you had to make me freaking fire off the curse world. I literally, no. I literally sent you a friggin' email last night, Friday's guest. I mean, oh my God, Mentioso, man. 8:30 p.m., 15 hours ago.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, look at that. Get on. Blink him. Look, now he's got to refresh. Yep. This is what happens. Angel's refreshing.
And then
there he is. Yeah.
Can everybody see and hear each other? Let's see.
No, I don't think Costco can hear me. He would have commented by now.
All right. Maybe then he might have to see. This is what happens. Nick, can you hear Rich or see him or not yet? Well, but I can see the Eagles Cup though.
He can't hear anything. He's just having a drink. He can't hear. You know what?
Nick,
look at him. This poor guy is hanging out like a deer in headlights. You're killing my guy.
Listen, I put him in. He should have been hearing everybody. If not, send him a text to see if you can refresh his screen.
All right. Hold on.
Right. We'll see. We'll get him on. Nick, he's looking down at his phone, so this is perfect timing. This would be the perfect timing. Listen, this it's a elongated show. That's what ends up happening. Here he goes. Now he's going to go out. Hopefully, when he pops back in, then you'll see him. I've seen him the whole entire time.
It's utter. This is a freaking disgrace, right?
But it's fun for everybody else. It's fun for the whole family. I told you it's off. Didn't I just say before he came on it was going to go off the rails? Now, Nick, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear everybody now.
Okay, now you can hear me and see me.
I can see you both now. Yeah.
Okay, you were talking about me as if I wasn't even friggin' here. That's number one. Okay, that's a horrible job. Then all of a sudden you're sitting there drinking your friggin' Eagles Cup, and then you double bide when I'm not on camera. What was that? Are you trying to?
Listen, man, I don't know. You refresh your screen goes black, and then I hear Angel talking to himself, so I don't know what the heck's going on over here.
That's what I'm saying. It's utter madness. I mean,
that's not my fault. You invited me on today.
If this was a webinar, this would have been the conference call would have been done.
No, what enough?
You got to give everybody their money back then.
How about this? I got Joey's beat graphic blocking my grill. Look at this.
That's okay because you just touched on it. He just said, I feel like I'm watching a web conference call, two old guys and a young guy who's just confused. So why is it so difficult for the old guys? Hang in, Nick. I did say before you came on, it was going to go off the rails for a little bit. And exactly what he did. But you know what? Nick is a good guy and he hung in there even though he couldn't see you. But Nick, you didn't miss much. It's just Rich. You don't miss much.
Phone conversations we have are probably little smoother until he goes into a tunnel.
Well, see, then you get the same thing I get when I'm talking to him. He'll do the same thing. All of a sudden, where's my hermano? He's gone. He's gone to oblivion. All right.
Really? I mean, seriously, this is right. Come on, let's have some fun and just break the balls constantly, right?
That's it.
Just boom, boom, boom. I mean, I do have an awful habit of like, I'll just start talking and then Nick will be like, I lost you 10 minutes ago.
But it's okay.
Yeah, he never hears me either. I go, I think I lost you. Then it's about 2 minutes later and I missed about half of what he just said, probably 3/4 of what he said. And he goes, do you know what I mean?
Then I'm not the only one. Thank God Nick's here. I'm glad you invited Nick and bring him back on because at least I'm Nick. I can hear what you're saying because it's the same way too. He'll start talking and I don't even tell him like, oh yeah, he'll come back like 2 minutes later and then he'll pop back in. And then, I was going down to Garden State Parkway. See, I'm not
same old story every week.
And by the way, Joey B says, Nick, hang in there. Angel and Q still think MySpace is a thing that not true. And then Joe Q follows up with, I'm glad I'm on vacation. I got to see this as opposed to signing off at 11:30 for work. All right. And with that being said, I am going to I'm just going to close out my window here. Big my hermano, and it is now Middays with Q. Holy moldies, but this was a lot of fun, so it's okay. It's what happens. But my hermano, take it away. It is Middays with Q here on the Riptide Media Network and Sports Radio 102.9 FM.
You got it, Angel. Thank you very much, brother. All right, 12 o'clock on the East Coast, as Angel alluded to. Middays with Q. Rich Quinones here. Angel Martinez behind the glass, producing show, keeping us on the air. 60 minutes to play with. Well, we already got him. Let's just start. Our good friend from 1-3 Sports, Nick Costco. All I see is, by the way, I'm laughing. You're like, is it 12, 15? Have you – listen, this is professional now. You're hanging out in the green room, or we can call it the Q room.
You can call it the Q room. I mean, that's quite the – Unfortunately, I'm not quick enough to give you a nice little quip back, but we'll call it the Q room right now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna blame Angel. You brought me in right away during your little crossover event right there. I'm thinking I'm waiting. I'll sit here for 15 minutes. I'll go get another cup of coffee while I'm waiting. Nope, we're going going right on.
No, that's too much. So Nick does a great job covering college sports, on 3 Sports, play-by-play as well. Are You Wrestling, Cal Live Sports in our backyard. Does a substantial amount of play-by-play, and we go way back radio days as well. And it's great to see Nick doing so well. And like I said, during the college football season, college hoops, college football, we do our stuff on BYP. We talk about the lines. We talk about the games. We dive in. I wanted to bring you on for a couple moments just to kind of, I guess, a little plant the seed, a teaser with the college football season. Think about it. It really is right around the corner. I think it's late August, and I just want to get your thoughts on a couple teams. I was pulling up. It's never too early to start look at these odds. College football playoff championship. I'm going to throw out a couple teams right now, right? We know Ohio State. We know Georgia. We know Texas. Michigan sitting at plus 1,400. Right now, your estimation, the most complete team, even though the season hasn't even started, by your research on 3, 5-star recruiting, transfer portal, throw everything in there. Is it still Georgia, the team to beat? Is it Ohio State? Is Texas going to be a player?
It's probably going to be Georgia. I would say the preseason number 1, that seems to be the metric that everyone's going with, that how do you measure up to Georgia? Who's going to challenge Georgia in the SEC? And if any of those teams challenge Georgia in the SEC, you're probably looking at your second or third best team in the country. They're loaded, other than their little slip up against Alabama in the SEC championship last season. That's their only loss. That team was bound for a three-peat. Now, if they beat Alabama, do they win it all last year and win a third title in a row? There's a good chance, other than, Michigan everything broke right for Michigan last year. We know that they have to not rebuild, but they have to reload a little bit more. That's a little bit closer to a rebuild in the sense of, you have no more Jim Harbaugh. You have Sharon Moore now, new quarterback. The defense lost a lot of pieces last year. You still get a guy like Donovan Edwards back in the backfield, so that helps your offense. But as far as challengers to Georgia right now, that stands, and we're at the end of May now. We still have 2 months before we get into the real thick of things in the early parts of the college football season. You're probably looking at Texas and the SEC, new SEC member Texas. Guy used to saying that, and them in Oklahoma, of course. But as far as challengers, Texas is up there. Ohio State out of the Big Ten looks like the favorite in that new look Big Ten that does feature teams like Oregon, Washington, USC, and UCLA. So if you're talking about to go along with conference realignment, Georgia is the number 1 challenger for them. Texas, Alabama is going to be in the mix for the SEC as well. You look at the Big Ten, Ohio State, I would say, is number 1 right now. Oregon, a steady number 2. Michigan and Penn State are up there as well. I'm interested to see how Washington rebuilt. I mean, that is a totally new look team with Jed Fish as the head coach. Now that Kalen DeBoer is at Alabama. And then after you get out of the SEC and the Big Ten, considering the conference realignment, I don't know where the heck else you go. You can go to the ACC and maybe throw a dart at somebody over there. Maybe Florida State, maybe. Can Clemson finally bounce back? It'll be very interesting, but you're looking at the top tier of teams I just mentioned before, and then you have to take into account, which I'm sure we'll talk about, the 12-team college football playoff this year, which kind of opens a new can of worms.
Yeah, it's a good point you bring up. I mean, you look at what you guys have researched and have on the docket and on three with the five-star recruitment, Bama with four, Ohio State two, Miami, Florida, FSU. I kind of want to get into those teams for a moment for our viewing audience in Florida. ACC, you mentioned, FSU. Are they poised to repeat? Clemson to me at plus 350. I'm not sold on that. I don't think it's the most strongest play or bet. And Sweeney, you look at that roster arrangement. They didn't. I think they didn't have take one single transfer. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong there. And then if that starting quarterback goes down, you got the kid, the redshirt freshman, who only had 9 snaps last year. So where are you at with Miami, Florida State? I look at Miami. They don't play Clemson or North Carolina State. I think they have FSU at home. 2 out of 3 of the teams that they play, you have first-year coaches, Manny Diaz with Duke, and then the other one slips my mind, and I'll pull it up while you're talking. But where are you at with those teams that I just mentioned?
As far as the Florida schools are concerned, you look at a team like Florida State and Miami, the ceiling this year for those teams, you could look at is the college football playoff. And again, that goes with the expansion. Just so people remember, you're no longer talking about the top 4 teams in the country. You're talking about the conference champions, some at-large bids, a group of 5 school. You're going to get a 12-team playoff. So if you're in that first round, you're now a playoff team out of the 12 teams. So Miami's got a chance. There are. I'll stick with them first because I think they're a fascinating case with Mario Cristobal, and when he comes over from Oregon a couple of years ago, and he has a lot of expectations on his plate. He's a Miami guy, South Florida guy. You're thinking, okay, he's going to turn this program around pretty much right away. And that's the sense I got when he first was hired. And I was like, this guy could probably win the ACC right away. It didn't turn out like that. Got to the bowl game last year, and little Jersey pride right here. Rutgers did beat them in the bowl game last year at Yankee Stadium. So I don't think Miami fans really like the image of that. But they got Cam Ward at quarterback, the transfer from Washington State. Now he was a big deal the other year when he went to Washington State.
Yeah.
They got him. They have Damian Martinez in the backfield as well. They are now loaded, and I feel like they kind of retooled to what Miami can be. Not necessarily the flashiness that we saw during their dynasty days in the 80s and, of course, the early 2000s. But you look at Cristobal's toughness, and then you get more of that speed and flashiness that they didn't quite have with, let's just say, Tyler Van Dyke at quarterback. You got Cam Ward now, so you have one of the better quarterbacks in the country. And again, I just mentioned Martinez in the backfield as well. Can this team win the ACC? They're certainly capable of doing that. And if they win the ACC, of course, they're going to go to the playoff. I think they're going to be contending for a playoff spot, and the same goes for a team like Florida State. They lost some pieces, but the ceiling is there to get back to the playoff. DJ Uyunglele is at quarterback now. Regardless of what you think of him, they at least have somebody at quarterback with experience. They're not throwing somebody in there that's completely fresh. I know they had Jordan Travis last year. He had the season of his life until he broke his leg, and it ultimately led to missing the playoff. But Florida State probably is the favorite in the ACC in terms of they're a little bit more well off than Miami because Miami hasn't taken that step yet. Florida State was undefeated last year, won the ACC, but of course they did with the backup quarterback, eventually their third string, and then they got walloped by Georgia in the bowl game, and of course missed the playoff before that because that team was essentially a shell of itself without Travis, and of course all the opt-outs. So Florida State to me is the favorite playoff. If they miss the playoff this year in this scenario, definitely disappointing. I think Miami can do the same thing where this looks like an 8-9 win team. So those two teams out of the Florida schools, they're looking like those are the contenders. Those teams are the ones that you should have higher expectations for. To me, and I know, I'm sure you could brush on Central Florida a little bit, which they should be a good Big 12 school this year. But in terms of the Florida Gators, we don't know what the heck is going to go on with this team. Right now, it's marred by Billy Napier can't get it done.
Yep.
He's had some recruiting wins. He's had some big recruiting losses. And not to mention, there's a lawsuit in front of this entire school.
Right. That's right.
With Jaden Rashada, which, by the way, I don't know the kid at all. The fact that he is flip-flopped so many times, and he was at Arizona State for a year, went back to the portal. Now he's at Georgia, which is kind of ironic. Georgia and Florida, and of course Kirby Smart for Georgia said that I had nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that lawsuit. Nope, don't want to talk about it. It's a shame. Essentially, it's the Jerry Seinfeld. That's a shame. So it's one of those things. Now, I don't blame Rashada and his family and his crew going after Florida in terms of a lawsuit, considering Florida's former collective promised this kid nearly $14 million in NIL money before he ever takes a snap in a college football stadium. I'm not going to blame him for that. But Billy Napier, I guess he's confident in whatever the due process and the legal process is going to be. But when you have something like that overshadowing your program and you're at a place where you got off on the right foot, beating Utah in that highly ranked game the other year, and now you've basically just taken steps backward. You had a guy who was a top 5 pick at quarterback, Anthony Richardson, who, regardless of what you thought of him in college and whatever you think of him in the NFL right now, injury aside, flash in the pan maybe. So who the heck knows where this goes from here? They're getting some recruiting wins now, but you know that Florida Gators fan base a little impatient because they tasted national titles before. They had the Urban Meyer days. They've had the Steve Spurrier days. You know, you've had these moments of success where you are one of the national powers, and it hasn't been like that in recent memory. Heck, Dan Mullen got this team within. If Georgia wasn't so good, maybe that team's playing for a college football playoff national title just a few years ago in 2020. So Florida could be a mess. They could be good. This could be a disaster. Pretty much for me, Florida is going to be a disaster this year, or they might, quote unquote, exceed expectations.
Maybe 5 wins, 6 wins. They were 5-7 last year. I mean, they opened with Miami. They've got some winnable early games. Sanford, Texas A&M.
The Miami game will definitely tell you a lot about Florida.
Yeah.
Can this team? Oh man, can this team win 9 games? I really don't know. I mean, if they don't go to the postseason at all in terms of a bowl game, I think Napier's gone. They're not going to hang on to him. That would be disaster to me if Florida does not get bowl eligible. I think they can. The schedule's brutal late down the stretch. Again, opening up with Miami, that's no easy task either. And I think Miami's a better football team right now. And if you look at, but if they pull off that win, which nobody thought they were going to beat Utah in his first year, and they beat Utah, but after that, it kind of went downhill. Could I see something similar? Maybe, but Florida to me is just a mystery right now as far as what you're actually going to see. And we're only in the end of May right now, so I'm going to wait to see how the summer plays out before I make any final judgments on Florida and what I think their ceiling and floor is going to be in 2024.
15 past the 12 o'clock hour on the East Coast, Middays with Q, coming at you live on Riptide Media Network. Rich Quinones here, Angel Martinez producing the show, keeping us on the air. Of course, powered by 102.9 The Game. Don't forget to download the app, also part of the Broad Street South Network. Nick Costco, kind enough to join us at Nick Costco 59 College Sports for On 3 Sports. As we mentioned, play-by-play, Are You Wrestling? Big Rutgers fan, Cal Live Sports as well. All right, 2 more quickies before I let you get out of here. Give me, and I'm really a loaded question for you here on May 31st. Give me 2 or 3 players right now that you believe will have an opportunity to go to New York for the Heisman.
I think one, you have to say, you got to go Travis Hunter if he's healthy. And now I know I'm a big Colorado guy.
Can we let the audience know, the full disclaimer, Costco is on the Colorado payroll, the bandwagon.
No payroll. Bandwagon, yes. I've been on Colorado's I'm not getting off now. I know 4-8. That was the most electric 4-8 season ever.
They gave us a fun month to talk about, did they not?
It was the most electric 4-8 season to talk about, let me tell you. So I'm not hopping off the Deion bandwagon, not hopping off Colorado. Travis Hunter is that good though. He's got to stay healthy. If he is healthy, especially with some of the new offensive pieces they've added, if that offensive line holds up, and don't forget, Travis Hunter does play defense.
Sure.
He's one of the best cover corners. He's going to be a first-round pick. That to me is no mystery. He will be a first-round pick in 2025. Is he going to be a Heisman contender? I believe so, if only he's healthy. Because if he's healthy, he's their best receiver. He's their best cover corner. He obviously has the condition to play both ways. He just had that nasty, a rib injury, a lacerated, whatever he had, a kidney injury last year off that dirty hit against Colorado State. If he's healthy, he plays 10 to 12, or he's going to have to play all 12 regular season games. And if that team even makes a bowl game, who knows? He will be a Heisman contender. He'll go to New York if he plays at the level he can play at, and that team is bowl eligible. He will definitely go to New York because of his value as a two-way player. But again, we know the Heisman is a quarterback award, so I'm not afraid to throw Shedeur Sanders' name out there because he's going to put up big numbers as he did last year, especially if he has just even a little bit more protection from his offensive line here in 2024.
By the way, that's two Colorado players.
It is.
So
I'm not saying he's going to go. I think Hunter has a much better shot of going to New York and winning the trophy than Sanders does. You got to look at the quarterbacks. Heisman's always a quarterback award. Jackson Dart from Ole Miss is a big one. Carson Beck from Georgia, I think he can start putting up some bigger numbers here in 24. Probably throw Quinn Ewers in there if Texas is as good as last year, which it seems like they could be. Jalen Milroe, quarterback from Alabama, will do the same thing. Some other names I want to throw out there that are non-quarterbacks. Again, it's a very quarterback-heavy award. Luther Burden, Missouri's wide receiver. Excellent wide receiver. He's going to be talked about a lot this season, especially when it comes to draft time next year. And then I got to throw out Ollie Gordon, Oklahoma State as well. He's one of the best running backs in college football. I think he's going to tear it up for Oklahoma State this fall. So he's another guy to watch out for sure.
All right, I'm going to give you 20 seconds because we're going to do a lot during the football season. You will get 20 seconds, and that's it. I will cut you off. I will cut the mic.
No, you won't.
20 seconds. Give me the win total right now for your Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
Let me think. I'm using my 20 seconds. 8-4. Best case scenario. The ceiling is 8-4.
Under the bank. Do me a favor. I know we're past Memorial Day. You got plenty of time. The bank closes at 5. Go cash the Rutgers check. Go cash the Colorado check.
I'm serious. Look at this opening schedule. Howard, Akron, Virginia Tech. You can't tell me those are 3 wins. Those are not 3 wins right there. Washington, questionable. They're better.
Memorized.
I'm serious. I got technology. I got it in front of me too. Washington to toss up. It's in Piscataway at Nebraska. Tough. Wisconsin game. UCLA's rebuilding at USC on a wacky Friday night. Lincoln Riley can definitely disappoint, by the way. But Minnesota coming to town. That's the Ethan Kaliak-Manis revenge game. New Rutgers quarterback right there. Maryland, that's going to be tough. Illinois coming to town. I could see that being a win. And they could easily be Michigan State as well on the road at the end of the year.
I give this kid an inch, and he takes 17.
Listen, man, no Penn State, no Ohio State, no Michigan on Rutgers' schedule. 8-4, I could see it. Can you imagine if this team goes 9-3 and they're...
No, I can't because my phone will be blown up on Saturdays, and I know where and by the way, I did not. By the way, let me take a little umbrage with something. I did not appreciate the fact that sometimes I have a hard time hearing on my cell phone, and a lot of times I'm in.
Well, I'm not saying that's your fault. You just for some reason your phone cuts out, and I can't hear you talk anymore. But the call didn't drop.
Yeah, listen, I mean, this is why I love the kid. He's fantastic. And he gives it right to me. So, all right, brother. Hey, listen, keep up the great work. Where everyone can follow you on social media. Go ahead.
Just at Nick Costco 59 on Twitter and Instagram, NickKosko59. Do the same thing on YouTube where I post all my On3 stuff and some other stuff as well. So check all that stuff out, on3.com as well. And then, of course, get your season tickets now for Rutgers Wrestling in this winter.
Get out of here. I'll talk to you, brother.
Appreciate you, Rich. Thanks, man.
Appreciate you. I'm telling you, my guys, man, I love these friggin' guys. They are ball breakers, but he knows his college stuff, man. I mean, he's really good. And we just always, I mean, we did as soon as Colorado won the first game last year, I texted him. I was like, yo, let's do a quick hit for BYP for Back Your Play. And within 2 hours, 500 views, 1,000 views, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. The next day, I'm texting him at 7:30. I was like, yo, is there a glitch on YouTube? 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, 20,000 plus. And it was a really good segment, but he knows his stuff, man. And that's what, we want to bring those types of guests on with good personality and a little juice. And when college football starts, we're going to be doing Nick's picks like we have done over the last several years. He does really good with handicap. And so we have a good play on each other with that. So, but the phone thing, I have to laugh because it is 100% accurate. I can't even get mad at that.
That's the way it is.
I mean, how many times do I sit there and say, I got to call you back. Let me call you back. Let me call you back.
It's notorious. But that's the best part, though, because, see, what people don't know, there should be, honestly, between Rich and myself, honest to God, we should have a virtual reality show because people will you guys will get humored by the time we end up doing stuff, me running around the house and taking care of things and then jump back into the studio. I'm listening to my mind on the phone. He's on the Garden State Parkway. We're going back.
Always traveling. Always.
Yeah.
I called you last night, then I texted you and I was like, this friggin' dog, I got to take a walk now. And I missed a friggin' power play. As soon as I go inside, all of a sudden it's friggin' 1-1, then it's 2-1. Then she wants to go back outside. I'm like, Kiki, I love you, but you're killing me right now. And I come back and the Rangers lost 3-2.
Well, that's what happens, unfortunately.
So it's like,
oh, it's just great times. That's all I can say. Great friggin' times.
yeah, listen, everyone, you have to download the app, 1029 The Game. Go on Broad Street South. Just click. You see the Google Play as well with the apps. It's right there. Angel has done fantastic work with the website, has done fantastic work with 1029, getting that app up and running. And of course, part of Riptide Media Network. Don't forget Pete Shepard, Monday to Friday, 7 to 10. Martinez and Company, 10 to 12. Myself, Middays with Q, 12 to 1. We will hit a break. We'll take a quick time out. We'll kind of reset the table. I got to learn every time now when there's a new guest just to refresh the page.
It's not every time. Things got caught up in the middle. It's as usual. We'll have a conversation after the show, and I'll explain to you the reason why.
Yeah, we'll do that. 25 past the 12 o'clock hour on the East Coast. Keep it locked in. We'll take you up to 1 o'clock straight up on a Friday.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman.
In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Should have been in this video. Good pull by you. You know. I'm telling you, I would have crushed it if I was in Miami Vice. I honestly, I believe that. Yep. I mean, point out a little. I mean, that's fantastic. A little Miami sound machine.
It's Friday.
We do it. Yeah, you got to do it like that on a Friday. Yeah, I told you I started to watch reruns of Miami Vice.
Yeah,
and show was ahead of its time.
Oh, way ahead of its time.
You know, let me just. We're doing some filler right here. So that email was sent, right?
See.
All right. I just told him.
I double checked, so he should. It should be in his inbox, but yeah, I double checked.
All right. So we'll pull up Demond in a moment. But yeah, that show was ahead of its time. I didn't realize too all the great characters. You know, when you look at those cameo appearances, all the great characters throughout the years. Yeah, fantastic show. Even though I watch it, it's called Tubi TV, and the problem is sometimes it friggin' buffers.
Mm-hmm.
So when Don Johnson, is looking all smooth like a cat and getting ready to make a move, it buffers.
Yeah.
Rewind. It's not as bad as, when we had the episode when we were talking about the Squigglies, but still it's
for those who remember at that point.
I hear. You know what? I hear laughing already in the background.
Oh, hang on.
Funny.
Wait, what happened, D? What happened?
I seen somebody comment in the comments. They said they feel like they watching some old guy. I can't say more.
Oh, I know what he's talking about. He's talking about this one here. The old guy. Wait. That was with Joey B. I'll find it. Where is it?
Demond, are you driving right now? Are you driving? That's all he's going to do is come on and laugh.
Funny,
that's all he's going to do is, this is what happens. I get these guys on, they're just going to come on and laugh. That's it. Now, let me see. So, all right, you're not driving, right? Because I feel like he's buffering.
He is buffering, but hang on. Let me do a refresh to see if everybody can hear and see me. Because give me a second, I'll pop in and pop back out. Desmond, you can hear us, right?
Yeah, hold on, Demond. Hold on.
My phone's true.
This is the power here. This is what we're doing. We're trying to work through this. We're doing a refresh. That's what we do. It's buying time right now.
Yeah.
So we see you.
Where'd Demond? Where'd he go?
He's refreshing as we speak. I think Demond is refreshing.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say, hey man, are you in a car?
Because if not, what he can end up doing is he can if well, hold on, he might be popping back in. If not,
Okay.
worst case scenario, you're getting him calling in because I don't want him to be obviously driving and be on the video at the same time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'll switch screens that way. People. It doesn't look like you're talking to yourself there for a second, but no, yeah. If not, he can always call in because if his picture is freezing up, see it refreshed, but I don't think. Oh, hang on.
Hold on, D. We're gonna see if we can figure this out. We got. I mean, this.
Hold on.
All right,
I got it. I'm about to. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you sound like me driving on the freaking Garden State Parkway, buffering in and out.
I apologize, man. So what I'm about to do is, am I still buffering in and out?
No, you're suitable right now, but we wanted the whole Demond Nicholson experience, man. I don't want you to. First of all, I don't want you to get pulled over. That's number one.
No. So what I was doing was I wanted to drive to where as though I can get some service. I apologize, brother.
I mean, if that's the case, I'll pick you up down in Maryland and bring you up to Jersey.
I'm back, man.
Hey, man, I got my guy, Demond Nicholson, a great super middleweight, had a fantastic career. Are you officially retired? Or is that a loaded question?
It's a question. Listen, so right now, man, I don't know. I'm gonna say yes, sir. I'm officially retired for right now. I'm giving my body a break. I'm back training now. I'm just training, getting in shape, helping some fighters. I'm training my fighters also. But I'm gonna say this: if I do come back to fighting, I'm coming back to fighting for the kids that I train to show them how to really get it, basically.
Yeah.
To understand ways of the boxing world and how you conduct yourself, how to handle business, and basically, man, to just stay ready at all times. You know what I mean? And in my career, I feel as though, I never turned down any fight that I was offered. But one thing, even though I never turned a fight down, I didn't accept the fight without getting the money that I wanted, that I knew could take care of me, my kids, and my family. So I'm not gonna say I'm done yet, man. I don't know. I'm back training though.
You know me. I have a habit of putting people on the spot.
No, it's fine, man. It's fine, man. It's time to let it out anyway. If I do return back to fighting, I will be fighting light heavyweight.
Okay.
Right now I'm walking around. I'm back. I just started back training 2 weeks ago.
You're always in shape, though. You're always in shape. Always.
Yeah, always in shape. Always in shape. But one thing about it is, no matter what I do, I'm 190 right now. So this whole summer, I'm focusing on just losing 2 pounds a week, not really beating myself up. Because my last fight, man, my liver was on the verge of failing.
Yep.
And that was from not just the problem is with these fighters and what people don't understand. That's why I respect Floyd so much. But at the same time, it's like, Floyd, yeah, you gave us gems and things like that, but people don't understand. He lasted. He's still able to fight and do the things he wants. If he really wants to, he can fight a world champion. But because he knows how to keep his weight down. Not necessarily keep his weight down, but fight what he weighs.
Yeah.
And I think the best who did that was Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins fought till he was 50.
It's also the lifestyle that Bernard had. Bernard didn't drink,
exactly.
didn't drink. I mean, I've had these conversations with him over the years. I mean, he just was so regimented, right?
Yes.
That
yes.
I mean, you start sitting on the sofa for a little bit, and you get soft.
And you start to realize, like, hold on, what's right? So that's what I'm doing now. Right now, just losing 2 pounds a week. That way, if I want to fight, I'm gonna be able to fight. I always stay ready. So that's my main mission right now, man. Just getting my body under control, making sure I don't have no sicknesses at all. And just having fun, man. Just living life, having fun.
Yeah, that's all we can do, right? I mean, for those tuning in, right?
Yeah.
Middays with you, Rich Quinones here, Demond Nicholson joining
Mm-hmm.
us, and of course, great career. Had a pleasure getting to call some of your fights. You and I go way back.
Mm-hmm.
That staple of DMV
Yes.
fighters, kidney
Yes.
survivor. And by the
Yes.
way, we
Yes.
had one ball breaker on who joined me in the 12 o'clock hour. Demond is the second ball breaker because these guys, Demond and Brandon Jacobs, tried to bully me on my pod. And so hold on. Let me hold on. No. Let me ask you right now: is Tyson Fury the greatest heavyweight right now? I mean, after what
He's
happened,
not. Nah, he's not. He's not. Man, but the crazy thing is, when I seen Usyk move up to heavyweight,
right?
I knew right then and there, Tyson Fury was gonna have a problem with him because you remember when Tyson Fury fought, I had a good brother of mine, Steve Cunningham.
When he fought Cunningham's my broadcast partner.
Yes,
Cunningham. Well, Tyson Fury kept dropping the elbows on Steve.
Exactly, and Steve was a southpaw that can box, and he was athletic.
That's right.
So I
Yeah.
knew right then and there, like Tyson Fury is gonna have some serious problems with Usyk, and Usyk can fight.
Yeah.
He's very technically sound. So
we're talking first undisputed heavyweight champ. In the belt era, when you think about it, heavyweight. I mean, look,
Man.
Fury's still a great. I'll say this: I was having this debate, and that's why I was excited to get Joel because when we go deep in the trenches, when we start talking boxing. I mean, you guys, I still had Kendall Holt getting on because I brought up Rocky Marciano. I'm like, wait a second, he whooped Joe Lewis's ass. And I was like, come on now. So like the top, when we start going top 10, it's so subjective, right? It's so when you look at Ali and Marciano and Lewis and Foreman and Tyson, to me, like you look at Tyson, I always thought Tyson was hyped. And I'm not going to say overrated, right? But I think for a hype. But look at his signature. He didn't have signature wins like others did. Okay, home. But you know what I'm saying? Like, Holyfield, Lewis, they beat him.
Yeah, and it's true because Usyk showed that. Usyk showed that, and I feel like. Go ahead. I feel like Deontay Wilder, he's not your most skillful boxer, man. He just had a good right hand, So, and he beat Deontay Wilder, and I do think he can beat plenty of more heavyweights. I think pretty much like Usyk is probably like one of the only ones who can really beat Tyson Fury. I will say like guys like King Kong can beat him, but King Kong it's his age,
Yes.
It's
and
his
that's the
age.
problem, right? But in the heavyweight division, the power's the last to go, right? At the end of the day, and you mentioned Wilder. We're going to see him this week against Zhang.
Yeah.
I mean,
he got a big fight. That's a big fight.
You know what, though? I think he gets the stoppage late because I don't think a lot of punches are going to be thrown, and I think Zhang gasses.
Yes, he gasses. That's his only problem.
Yeah.
If he was in shape, he would be one of the best in
his
the
size,
heavyweight division.
And also being a southpaw.
Yeah, and he's sharp. He could fight. He could box.
Yeah.
He's just in no shape.
Yeah. Hey, I was interested to ask you this too, and we'll get to Ryan Garcia in a second. Demond Nicholson kind enough to join us on a Friday edition Middays with Q. Rich Quinones here. Angel Martinez behind the glass, keeping us on the air. I'm doing the blow by blow for the Team Combat League, so they do a lot of stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I've been doing that. What have you been under a rock? You haven't been following my work?
Man, listen.
Or you only get on me when you disagree with me on social media.
Stop it, man. I've been in a space, man, where so I've just been training, working.
That's good.
And taking care of my responsibilities.
Right. You're getting your mind right. I appreciate that.
Yes.
The reason I brought it up
I do apologize though, man, because you're like you said, man, you've been following me, man, for for over 10 years now.
You're my guy, man. I'm just listening,
Yes,
man. You know I like to
definitely.
you know I like to poke. I do it because I love, man. I do it because I love.
Definitely.
But it's an interesting concept, right? Because they got teams all over the East Coast. Mike Fox is on the DC squad. Just called the fights with him a couple of weeks ago, and it's basically 8, 16, 24 rounds, right?
Right.
So you got basically one round to get it done, and then it's based on a point thing. Can you see maybe for next year, if you're still okay, hey, I'm not retired or semi-retired, I feel pretty good, I'm in good shape. And the reason I bring it up is you said light heavy. Like Ray Robinson was a great welterweight out of Delaware, right? In Philly.
Right.
And he's fighting at 175 for the Philadelphia squad. And he was at his best at 147. So can you see perhaps that kind of being an opportunity for you? And the reason I ask is because a lot of these fighters, D, they're doing it because they're making more in one round than they would in, say, 2 or 3 fights.
Yes. So to be, I did the TCL last year.
Yes.
And to be, I could be honest. I'm not on it no more. I'm gonna be honest. So I did the TCL right after the Boo Boo fight.
Okay.
And when I did it, I only had like a week or two to get down to 175, and I was probably like 195, man. And but I think that offsetted my body for future fights. You know what I'm saying? And
That's zapping a lot of weight, man.
Yes. And not to say that, like, next year, of course, I'm gonna be fine because my body is gonna be immune to 175. I'm gonna be walking around at 175 and fighting 175. So, like, but I don't think I would do TCL again. Honestly,
Listen, it's not. I mean, it's an interesting concept. I know there's been a lot of pros and cons. There's been debates about it. Especially if a fighter's been injured prior to, should he been fighting? And I think that's
right.
Listen, the film doesn't lie. Like, even though I can be calling fights for the league, you have to just be honest and transparent. And I get both sides of it. But I'll tell you this. I know it's probably pissing off a lot of local promoters because some of these fighters now are like, hey, man, we'll go fight for these teams. And
exactly. Yeah. And see, that's but like I said, it's a great concept, right? Like I love it. I love it for fighters who, like myself. It's great for fighters like myself who needs to still show that they got it, or
there you go.
They can still look. I can still fight. Yeah, it's one round, but I can fight.
Yeah.
So, but for myself and my purpose, it just I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? But it's a great concept for fighters like me, who've been on that world stage, who've been at the peak of their career, and they're not just getting a shot, but they need a shot. So hey, let me go show these people, like, look, they tripping. They
don't sleep on me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So but like for me myself, man, like I'm really coming into my own. I've had time to really live without. And it's crazy because I'm not living without boxing because I'm in the gym every single day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Every single day I'm in the gym. I'm training fighters. My little brother, he fights now. He started fighting in December, and he has 5 fights already. He only lost 1, but like he's him and the kids that I have in my gym, man, they're just progressing. It just shows me that I really know what I'm doing. Me and the team around me and my dad, the coaches in my gym, we're doing a hell of a job, man. So it's giving me the itch. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have the itch. I have the itch, but even though I have the itch, before I even say, yeah, I'm fighting again, I gotta take care of my body. You know what I mean? But let me ask you this one quick question: Do you think Andre Ward is fighting?
Go ahead.
Do you think Andre Ward is fighting again?
I feel as though the last time we saw Andre Ward was 20 years ago, right? Keith Thurman.
That's what it seemed like, right?
Nothing. I don't put anything past anyone at this stage of the game. And you can have a layoff in boxing. I mean, listen, Jake Paul's fighting Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, like, you know what I'm saying? If people they cut
Yeah,
the
that's
check,
crazy.
they cut the check, and Sugar Shane Mosley is supposed to fight. Tarver wants to fight. I think Hopkins wants to have another fight.
What?
Mosley's going to do like a celebrity boxing. That's the one
Man.
thing I can't tell a fighter to stop fighting. I
Nah.
can't. Who am I to say that?
Right. Right. It's man, it's literally like when you really think about it, man, like when we watch have you watched the movie 300?
Of course. Are you kidding
When
me?
you watch Troy,
Where do you think that? Where do you think? Now you're going to get pulled over
right?
right now. Where do you think
No, it's people.
the
I
inspiration for?
apologize.
Listen, I was a stunt double with the abs. The inspiration in 300. They used me in a couple scenes.
So, like, what I'm, and it's crazy, right? It's crazy because when you really think about it, 300 that was over 1,000 years ago in that era, but they were really warriors. So
Warriors.
when you fast forward into our time, new age, but we are those men,
Yeah.
and those men go out on their shield,
Yep.
and it's crazy, and it's crazy to really look at it this way, but that's who we are.
Yeah.
That's who we are, and we have to come to a ground where we accept that.
Yeah.
We accept that, and that's what I've accepted, that like I'm a fighter. No matter where I go in life, that's always going to be who I am. No matter I'm able to turn it off and turn it on, but deep in my core, I'm a fighter, man. So like, no matter what, like I understand. Like Mike Tyson, like bro, like you're almost 60. What are you doing? You're almost 60.
Yeah.
Like you have nothing else to prove. But at the same time, it's like, bro, you can't tell that man like don't do that, because that's who he is.
Yeah.
That's who he is.
Yep.
And the crazy thing about Jake Paul is I don't know. I don't know like the rules that they have and stuff like that. But Jake Paul is going to see. He's going to feel what it really is to be a fighter.
To
You
fight,
know,
even though Tyson's 57, to fight a legit. Think
legit
about it, right?
fighter. And see, Mike says it all the time that like when he used to go in the ring, he was scared, but once he got closer to the ring, he became that killer. But what Jake Paul doesn't realize is no matter says, he's not the same man. Nah, he's not. But that killer instinct, kill or be killed, is going
Yeah.
to come out in that ring, and that's when Jake is going to feel it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. I'm pretty sure he trains hard and
Yeah.
everything.
Sure.
You know, you know, but he's never experienced
Yeah.
what it is to really like go in that ring, and if he dies, he dies.
It's a
And
different animal, man.
different animal, and that's just me speaking from a spiritual side of a man and an animal inside of that ring,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, man, my prayers to both of the guys, man. But man, it's at the end of the day, yeah, it's good money, but these guys are not fighting for the money. They fighting because that's what they love to do.
And ego, man, too, right? The ego is a powerful thing.
Ego, yes,
You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
yes,
Still think you
yes.
got one
And
more.
see,
Still think you got one more in you. Demond Nicholson, kind enough to join us. By the way,
yeah,
ambassador, does a fantastic job. National Kidney Foundation, kidney survivor, and just 100% all guts and heart. All right, got about a minute or two before I let you get out of here, brother. Let me ask you, Ryan
okay.
Garcia. Is this just one of these situations where we say, hey, I think the supplements tested positive androstenedione, and I guess they're saying now maybe it's a shortened suspension. I had Bob Santos on, legendary trainer, on my double job boxing pod, and he said, "Listen, man, suspend him for life, ban him for life." I mean, where you at with the whole Garcia?
I mean, if he say suspend Garcia for life, I mean, that means you suspend Canelo Alvarez for life. Every other boxer who's been tested and found out about them cheating, and Canelo got tested for basically steroids. I mean, it's all in how you look at it. I don't think whatever Ryan Garcia was given, I don't think it boosted him. I don't think it helped him. I don't think it did anything. You know what I mean? Everybody cheats, man, at the end of the day, And I don't think he should be banned for life. Me personally, I wouldn't. Like I said, I don't think it helped him, but he should pay some type of price, when it comes to using these types of substance, because, like, at the end of the day, man, it's not right.
Yeah.
It's not right. We work so hard day in and day out, man. We almost killing ourselves, man. For you to go in there and think you're going to cheat and just use anything to give you that advantage, you got to pay something, man. You got to. It's life. But also, I think, a lot of it has to do with people didn't think he was going to do that to Devin, and a lot of people who didn't think that are paying the price also. So, man, hey, man, it's all in your perspective. My perspective, hey, man, he didn't cheat. I don't see it as cheating. He needed to cut that weight, but at the same time, it's like he did. So, hey, man, it's all in how you look at it,
Yeah. Yeah. Tell that to the boys in Vegas. Tell that to the boys in Vegas, right?
And
What?
that's exactly what I'm speaking
Yeah.
about.
Angel, did you want to jump in, Angel?
Y'all not old. Y'all not old.
No, we're not. But it's just listen. Joey B is a character, man. He's been connected with me for the last 3 years. Love the shows that we end up putting on there, but he's always got some great one-liners. But it's just the way it is. Listen, my brother knows I love him. And it's just when you run a show, this is like any other network where they haven't done this stuff before. The radio station and the way I set up my network and in conjunction with Riptide Media Network, we just run one show into the next.
Okay.
And what ends up happening is sometimes you just have to refresh your screen so people can hear and see each other. So Joey B takes advantage where he knows that Rich and I are together, and it's like he has those great little one-liners and he throws it up there. But it's always good times. But
I'm always, maybe it's because I do dish it out a lot. For some reason, I run towards the fire, Demond. I run towards the fire.
Right.
Many run away. I run towards the fire. Now he's saying something nice. Go ahead. What's that?
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, I said you wouldn't be you wouldn't be yourself if you didn't run to the fire.
And how many fighters have I probably pissed off on the air?
Hey, but hey, they love you though. At the end of the day, hey, I'm gonna leave with this one thing.
Go ahead, brother.
One last thing, please. You said it's the fighter ego. That's why they continue to fight and stuff like that. And that's what I had to realize. That's why I retired, because I realized that I built up so much ego and it was negative. That's what was causing me to become sick, because everything that I do is out of positivity, but when it's time to fight, everything becomes negative. So I had to take the time off to understand the ego that I had built up for over 25 years. You know what I mean? And now that I'm dismissing that, when I go back into the ring, you're going to see a whole different person. You know what I mean? And that's all I wanted to say, man. But that you hit that on the point. You hit that on the money, because I never really understood what was causing me to think and to react the way I did. But it was the ego I built up, wanting to be the best, consider myself the best.
Is it also you want to go out on your terms at the end of the day? Is
On
it
my
tough?
terms,
Is it tougher to walk away in boxing if you had a couple bad losses, or you got knocked out, or maybe you weren't 100% for that last fight? Or are you in a place where I just want to go out, I still have it in me, I still got the energy and the juice, mind, body, and soul. When I'm ready, I'll know when I'm ready. Does that make sense?
That's exactly where I'm at. And like I said, this is all for my kids. Of course, things are gonna arise where I'm gonna get big shots and big fights because of who I am, how I train, how I discipline myself. So man, that's it. I'm not coming back because I want to be world champion. Man, if I become world champion, I do. But I'm just coming back just to spread light and to show these kids how they can be whatever it is they want to be.
Yeah.
That's
Well
it, and
said,
that's all.
man. Hey, man, listen, man. I can talk. I randomly just
Yeah,
I'll text
definitely,
you all the
man. I'm gonna
time,
let
man.
you
Just
go. Hey,
check up on my
man,
guy.
man, thank you for having me on, brother. Please, I mean, I really
What are you
appreciate you
talking
because I
about?
think
It? You gave us great content, man. We're just sitting here. I turn on the mic. It's all you, brother. They don't want to hear me. They want to hear you. I just
yeah,
got worried. I thought all of a sudden you were going to pull into like the drive-through. You got to get that balance meal. I didn't know if you were going to the signal, a bad area. I don't know what the hell was going on.
right. Hey, the next time we're on, man, we're gonna be on celebrating. Trust me.
Absolutely, man. Hey, man, I'm
All
a
right,
fan. You know that, brother. I appreciate you, man.
definitely.
All
I
right, D.
appreciate you too, man.
All right,
All
man.
right, gentlemen, have a blessed one.
You
Thank
too,
you, brother.
brother.
You too, man.
All right,
All
be
right,
well, man. All
all
right,
right.
there you have it. My guy, Demond, the best at it. Nicholson. Listen, kidney survivor, right? Advocate, Kidney Foundation. You talk about having a backstory. I mean, he is one tough friggin' cat. I mean, he really, and he's a hell of a fighter too, man. He's a hell of a fighter. And, you know, I would love to see him in the ring. I just, as a friend and calling his fights over the years and a big fan and supporter, you just want to make sure these guys are healthy and happy and sound. And it's very hard to tell an athlete, especially in the sport of boxing, Angel,
Mm-hmm.
when they hang up the gloves.
No, I've noticed that we saw that with Sugar Ray. We saw with even with Muhammad. God bless him and God bless him forever. But
You have one too many fights, and it's funny he mentioned with the TCL that I do. And listen, I love the experience calling the fights for Team Combat League. I think it's a wonderful concept, but I do understand that he was 100% correct when he mentioned for fighters, fringe contenders had an opportunity for title. You're seeing a lot of those fighters in this league because they want to remain relevant. They want others to see that they still have something left where maybe they can get a shot for a regional belt and then a world ranking and then a higher payday. I mean, think about it. How many do you think fighters, right?
Right.
Out of 100 kids boxing right now that have 10 wins, 15 wins, 20 wins, how many of those do you really legitimately say in 2, 3, 4 years, we can sit there and say this kid fought or this girl fought for a world title, world championship, which means millions of dollars and being set for life?
It's not many.
There you go. That's exactly my point. That's why I love the sport, but sometimes I just can't. I can't stand the sport sometimes because of the politics, the way they do fighters dirty. You can be a hot prospect, 10-0, and get knocked on your ass, and then all of a sudden your promotional company decides we don't need you anymore. Listen, I learned this years ago. What players make, what athletes make, what fighters make. Years ago we'd sit there and say, I can't believe they're paying this guy. Man, go make it. I mean, we might not agree with the contract and think it's a waste of money, but ultimately, go make it.
Yep.
Go make it. I know we're tight. Did you want to do an extended? I don't know. It's your call, man.
You can extend it if you like.
I just wanted to make a quick comment or two about the games last night. You mentioned when we were crossing over in the NBA with Dallas and Minnesota. I think we need to just pump the brakes when it comes to talking about teams and face of the league and the face of the franchise. I mean, we saw Towns, we saw Edwards, we saw Minnesota just basically no show at home against the Dallas Mavericks. I think we're very quick to just Christian these teams right away based off of a playoff series or a nice little run. And I thought last night was a prime example of veteran guys and Luka and Kyrie basically saying enough is enough. I mean, that's really just kind of what I wanted to pinpoint on the NBA. As far as the NHL, I just think the Rangers are gassed. Florida Panthers are an exceptional team. they can score shorthanded goals, power play. You got the goalie standing on his head, no pun intended. The Rangers, I'm not a fan of the lineups. I think they have to scratch and claw every time they take a lead. Florida comes right back. And then when Florida takes a lead, the Rangers have to exert themselves so much. That series ends tomorrow night. But I am looking forward to the NBA Finals. And not a bad, quick little mini soft launch the last 3 days, huh? A lot of fun.
Yeah. That was fun. Today you got to figure, even though I felt bad because we put Nick on the spot there, but he was sitting there. What else am I going to do? I'm going to bring him up. I know he was waiting patiently. I'm like, nope. Listen, there's no one's doing what is being happening here on Broad Street South, especially on the digital sports station, Sports Radio 102.9 FM, The Game, and with the Riptide Media Network. No one's doing this stuff. I don't care who you are. I don't care how many years you've been watching different content and everything else. No one is doing it the way it's being done right here. And so
our crossovers are not crossovers. They're
sure
clusters.
That's exactly what it is.
You know, we got the guys in the Q room, the green room, laughing because they know it's like we're clicking on MySpace, right? All of a sudden, we're going to have Tom from MySpace flash up. I always see they put that on social media. Was that really the guy that created MySpace?
But I don't think so. Supposedly, it was going back in the story was supposedly it was a girl who just wanted her space, literally, and then it kicked off.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like, hey, give me my space. Back off.
Yep.
That's like in the social network. And by the way, I know you always laugh when I do this. And by the way, just drop the. Just it sounds cleaner.
It's always good. No, but you got to figure. Listen, it was a great soft launch for 3 days, and then we ended the way we're ending it here, which is it was phenomenal. Demond was great. He talked about his boxing. The only thing I was worried about, just like you, was that he wasn't driving and using his phone at the same time. Yeah. So it's a good thing. I understand he was trying to
guys all the time, man. Just pull over, just call. We'll book it another day. Like, I don't need somebody to get a ticket or get it. Oh, speaking of which, did you see that? Wait. We got to close on this. Did you see the guy that was supposed to get on a Zoom call regarding his suspended license?
Oh, yeah.
What this jackass gets on the Zoom call while he's driving, and the judge is like, wait. So this is a call to go over the case of the fact that you have a suspended driver's license. You shouldn't be driving. The dude's jaw dropped like he was in amazement that he did something wrong.
Yep. Moron. What a complete moron. I mean, how stupid can you be? That's almost like getting arrested for a DUI. It's like, were you drinking? No. But would you like some Budweiser? Like, it's the same stupidity.
I had a bunch of my buddies text me. They're like, you do the same thing on the phone to everyone. And they're like, it's just convenient when you start talking. It's like, go. But then when you have to shut up, I'm sorry, I'm in a bad area, a bad signal.
It is a funny conversation though, but no, it was good. And by the way, I did reach out to Nick and told him my apologies for bringing him on. And he said, no, it's okay. I was just making sure that I was ready, but it was, listen, things happen in a moment. And that's why this was what makes radio and TV and broadcasting so much fun, because you can't make this stuff up. You can't. And the fun part is when it's just something you throw together and you go from one to the other and switching across. This is why something I envisioned many, many years ago. And thanks to, a lot of people with the opportunities along the road, especially now with the collaboration, myself, Riptide Media Network, all this stuff happens for a reason. And this is what I've been wanting to put together for the longest. And you're not going to get a show anywhere, I don't care where you are, that's going to bleed from 7 in the morning until 1 o'clock in the afternoon to be able to keep everybody entertained as well on the digital sports app. So it's been a fun week. We had a great slew of guests all week long between Pete, myself, and then obviously with you here with Middays with Q. And I'm happy. I'm content. It's a true professional network. No, I don't care who says what. I know there's naysayers out there. You can talk all the shit you want to. I'm telling you right now, you're not going to get any freaking better. Sorry. I've never talked about it ever in my lifetime, but it's been a work of art. It's been working my ass off, and I'm glad the things are coming together the way they should.
Yeah, listen, you guys, Pete did a phenomenal job, man. Carrying 3 hours, great guest. You're doing a great job with Martinez and Company. We know Riptide Media Network's going to grow. I'm excited to be on board in the early stages. You guys have done all the heavy lifting, and like I said, I mean, I know you've already gotten visions 5 days a week, expand the show. Listen, man, I'm on board. I love what you guys are doing. I appreciate everyone with the comments, the tweets, the Facebook post, and the messages as well. You got no Predators this weekend, so anything else sports related or just kind of?
No, I've got a lot of work to do on the station because you end up missing it, bro. You probably heard it earlier this morning. So for those who listen in, now that we have our 3 shows here lined up in the morning, and then there'll be more editions a little bit later on, there'll be the replays afterwards. But because I'm on with Rich as far as producing the show for him. In the morning, I produce and co-host with Pete. So when the shows are done, the immediate attempt is to be able to get the shows downloaded, audio, cut it, and then put it on the digital radio station so you guys can hear the replays as it goes along. So that stuff I have to work on the weekend. I have to add new music over to the station itself, as I've been just busy working so many different avenues, and then added with the Predators has been a lot. So there's a lot of work. I'm missing my lady because she's in Chicago for a baby shower for her niece. And it's weird because when she's not around, she pops in and out of the studio and lets me know if something sounds good, looks good. So, I can't thank her enough. You guys might get tired of me talking about her, but at nauseum, I love the woman to death. She's my absolute world. And I appreciate her here until the end of the world. But there's a lot of work. There's also some research that I have to do for someone who asked me on request to put something together. There's going to be more Spanish content that's going to be coming. There's a lot, and I'm just going nuts and my head's ready to explode, but I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it.
Now, listen, keep it up. You're doing a fantastic job. And like I alluded to, I'm fortunate. I'm excited. I'm humbled to be part of the network. And we're going to take this to another level. Got to remind everyone, follow Pete on X at Pete Shep 326. Don't forget Pete Shepard Show, Monday to Friday, 7 to 10. Angel Martinez in the co-host chair, producing as well. Then Martinez and Company. You already know to follow Angel on social media platforms at Broad Street South, and it's ST South Pod. So we'll retweet it on my handle as well at Rich Q on Q. Appreciate the guests this week, Lloyd Vance, Nick Costco, Johnathan Marshall, Demond Nicholson, Angel Martinez, mi hermano, producing the show, keeping us on the air as we are wrapping up on a Friday edition of Middays with Q. As always, download the app 102.9 The Game. Follow Broad Street South. Keep supporting Riptide Media Network as we friggin' blow this thing up and keep growing it. I want everyone to have a good sports weekend. We'll be back in the saddle Monday from 12 to 1 on the East Coast. As always, be safe, be sound. I'm Rich Quinones. Hasta luego, buen día.